Hi everyone. This week's tutorial we're looking at spirelli, and spirelli is just simply thread around a form in the middle. This one I've done as a circle, which is more traditional spirelli. It can be very flexible as to the appearance of the spirelli, but we'll talk about that as we go through. Okay, so this one, simple background, circle, and spirelli thread is going about halfway across and then a decoupage on the front. Now, this one was done with a slightly bigger circle, but the decoupage that would have gone onto here has now been put onto this card. So one decoupage has made the two cards. Okay, so that's some samples there. I'll try and leave there. Right, this one is worked on a square and it's done on a punch, but we'll look at that, and it's simply wrapped around in a pattern. This one here is a beautiful one, which is made to look like a dream catcher. And I've got some lovely backing paper on here, which has got dream catchers and feathers on it. And this I've had in my craft stash for probably about 6 years, not knowing what to do with it. So now I found a place for it. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side, and we're going to have a look first at a square design. So this one, I have cut a square out with fancy scissors, and it's a scalloped edge. You need something to hang your threads on so that they don't move. We'll look at a different way of doing it right at the end. But this one here is simply threads. I will add another couple of layers to it. So I fix the thread on the back with a piece of tape. And if I was making a contrast now, like a tartan, right, I would go to the next scallop, over the top, come down to the next one. So I've done 2 threads. Turn it round, and I take the next scallop and I use the next 2 indents. Turn it round and do the next 2. Always get used to turning it one direction. And then we do the other 2. So now I've completed the pattern, and I've got 3 spaces left. So let's take that, take my piece of tape and tape that, and I can cut it off. So I've got pink and brown, and that one, I've got a green here I think I'll use. So we're going to finish off the middle. So again, across the top, it doesn't matter where you start. So I'm going into the next scallop, down, into the next scallop. Now I've completed all of those. So I turn it round and I go into the next scallop there. And that has completed my tartan effect on there. Take that one off. And there is my tartan design. Okay, so let's see. I've got a few bits here. I think we're going to go for this little bird here. So there's my little bird, and I think I'll have him to the side there. Here's my card. Now I do like wet glue to fix these on, because if you go all the way round, it's also making sure that the threads are well and truly held down. So I think we'll go up into that top corner. There. And I'm not sure about the red berries, so we're going to take those off and have my little bird to there. Okay, so that was just a quick look at making a square, design. Okay, but that's filling up all of the squares with that. Okay, doesn't stand out very much, does it? So one of the ways we can do that is to put a contrast behind there. So let's lift off our bird and see if we can add contrast behind there. So place that on. Always be prepared to change and add stuff as you go. Okay, here's our little bird, and now that looks a lot better. Okay, so you could put a die cut greeting onto there, or have your greeting down the bottom here. Right, so that's a very quick sample. Let's have a look at this one. This one, we've done all of the designs, but on the diagonal. So let's have a quick look how we did that. So we're going to have this. This was punched out with a large punch, but you'll see that we can do all sorts. Right, so always fix your thread to the back. Make sure it's held well. Right, this time I'm coming from there across the corner, because we're going to build this one on the diagonal. So I'm taking my thread through and going on the diagonal till I get to that corner. Then I go across the back and then start coming down this way. And we're working back to that corner. Just need to turn it around so that the camera can see. There, so we've done that. That's an attractive pattern in its own right. So let's come down to this one and we simply complete the rest of the design going back the other way. See how quickly it comes together. Right, turn it round for the camera. Last one there. Pull it tight across the back and fasten it onto the back. Right, so there we have this diagonal design, whereas this one was vertical and horizontal. And this one I've done 2 exactly the same and 1 punched shape for my greeting in the middle that hasn't been spirellied at all. Okay, so that was that one. Now let's look at the more common one here that is based on circle. You need something to hold the threads while you're working. So that's why we have scallops around a lot of the time. So this one here, they're all different sizes, so they've all got different numbers of scallops. Okay. Now let's have a look at what happens here, because all of these look different. Make sure that's solid. Right, now if I wanted to cover the whole lot like this dream catcher, I'd want to go across, right? Then I would go to the next one to the right, and then the next one forward, 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 all the way around. And can you see we're covering the center? Okay, so you can carry on like that. This one here, we're leaving a space in the middle. So you can just experiment how far you want your thread to come. If we went across there, which is slightly to one side, you'd end up with a little hole. Right, let's just show that forming. So can you see we're making a hole in the middle? You always go round until you've got 2 threads in each scallop. Nearly there. There you are. So we've made a little hole in the middle. Okay, let's take that undone. Right. So now, if we don't go across, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go 5 scallops round. Go forward 1. There we go. So we're starting to overlap now, so we're getting 2 threads. Wrong with that one. One, 2, 3. Should be that one. If you know how many you've missed, and there we've got our complete circle and 2 threads in every scallop. Okay, so when you've finished and you're happy with what you've got, just finish it off with the tape. So then you could have anything to help show off spirelli. So that would be a nice colour combination. Okay, so let's put that to one side. So that one was die cut. These ones were ready-made scallop bits, which I've had in the craft stash for a long time. Right, and they're all different sizes. This one was a much smaller one, which I've die cut with a different die cut, so it's got more scallops going round it. Right, let's have a quick look at what we can do if you haven't got the dies. So here I've got a roll of tape, right, and let's grab a piece of card, and I'm simply going to draw around my inside circle. You could make it the outside circle or whatever. So I've now got a pair of scallop scissors. So I don't want all that weight hanging on while I'm cutting. So let's take that off. And I'm now going to come in to the circle, and my scissors, the points, are going onto the edge of my pencil line. So I'm turning the card, not my scissors. Always turning the card into the scissors so that I'm watching this point going down onto that pencil line. Now, the time we have to worry is when we get to the other end to try and match our scallops up. So I go round and stop a little bit away, because I can then position my scissors and check that they're going to fit nicely, and it does. So there's my beautiful scallop circle, and using no dies at all. So let's go for this. These are just crochet threads, but you can use wool, you can use anything. Now, where I've got my pencil line, that is going to be the back so that nobody sees it. And I'm going to put my thread across to see how far I want my circle to be. Now, I think I'm going to do that so that I get a small circle. Using a variegated thread, it makes it more interesting as you get the colour variation going around. Now, one of the nice bits is if you want to stop there, you've got a basket effect. So to put flowers inside the basket is quite nice. Right, so now my threads are starting to double up. So all of these at the moment have got 2 going into them, and I have to carry on going round until every scallop has got 2 threads going into it. See the hole forming in the middle? Don't use too flimsy a card or you'll get it buckling, because you have to keep attention on the thread as it's going round. Nearly round the other side. There we go. So now we've got our spirelli complete. Turn it over and across the back. Yeah. So that we've done from a roll of tape and a pair of scallop scissors. Okay, so that's another nice one. Let's see It's got the bird from this one, so could make it as though he's looking for a little hole for his nest. Okay. Right. Now we're going to actually look at doing up this one. So I now have my base card. Just give it a quick burnish. I've already prepared a strip of my beautiful backing paper, and I've put a little mat down each side. I'm going to adjust the height so I haven't gone across the top and the bottom. So let's take that. We're going to apply the double-sided tape. And make sure my feathers are hanging down correctly. I'm going to go level with the bottom and just trim off the excess at the top. I've done that so that I've got a whole picture of the feathers at the bottom and a whole picture of the dream catcher at the top. So now let's have a look. This is one of my circles. So I've got all different sizes. I think I'm going to go for that one. And we're going to use the dark thread on this one so that it shows up nicely. So thread across the back. Make sure it's fixed down. Now, this one, we want the threads to come mostly across to fill the whole thing, but I want a little bit of a hole there. So this will be the tiniest hole in the middle because I've missed one scallop. So now it's a case of threading round each scallop. So you're moving forward one scallop at the bottom there, moving forward one scallop at the top. It's lovely, relaxing one to do, and it doesn't cost a lot of money and doesn't need a lot of equipment. So I'm moving forward, forward. You see the little hole forming in the middle? That's because we've left one scallop undone. And I keep going round until there's two threads in every scallop. There we go, something's gone wrong with that one. So that's better. Because you're not fixing it each time, it's easy to go back and make good your mistakes. So there's my tiny hole by just going across and moving back one scallop. I've got about the same size as scallop in the middle. So let's take that, wet glue, all the way round. That's going to help hold the threads. And that's going up there. Now I'm very fond of eagles. So here we have an eagle, which goes along with the theme of the dream catcher and the Indians. And there is my lovely eagle. Right, now I have got some feathers here that I die cut. I would have gone outside and found some feathers outside, but the weather is absolutely awful. So all of my feathers that I've got around the garden would be absolutely saturated. So rather than not do them, I've got some die cut ones. You can put down a thread or just a little pencil coloured line. There we go. So there we've got a dream catcher done in the dark threads and just 3 feathers. Here we've got one that I use the bull's head and some feathers. Then we've got these that were showing off the decoupage that we had here, and just a different way of looking at using a square. Now, I did mention that if you haven't got scalloped scissors, that there is a way of doing it. So let's put that to one side. And if I take my trimmer and I'm cutting a shape, actually, I think I'm going to make it 8, because that is easy to work out. So what you can do now, you can do it every 1/4 of an inch, you can do it every centimetre, whatever measurements you're used to using. And we work on the back. And I'm going to measure just every 1 centimetre. So you could be doing every 1/2 inch. I do like to make all the tutorials accessible if you haven't got any of the equipment, because your hands are the best equipment that you have to use. Right, if I take this now and just do a little snip at regular intervals, you could do this around a circle. Nearly there. So we'll go with the pink, and we're going to go Just looking for my pencil marks. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to come to the middle one. And I'm going to the middle one that side. Middle. Right, I've now got a diamond. Right, I can go to the next. You can play around to make any pattern that you like. You could leave it at that, or you could go around making any sort of pattern that you wish. It's quite interesting. There we go. So there you go. And when you put that onto another card, just to do a border, it will look very attractive. So let's just finish those off. So everyone can be totally different. Yeah. So use anything you like. Let's have a look. I've got another pink bird here. This is a lovely goldfinch. Actually, I'm just going to use the flowers. So let's bring that in. So you could put a lovely background on that, a message in the middle, and your flowers around the outside. Okay? So have fun. The important thing is that you play and have fun learning what you can do with what you have in your stash. Okay, so have fun. God bless you all.